In Parshas BeHar, this week's Parsha, the Pasuk says, Sheish Sharim Tiz Rasadecha, the Sheish Sharim Tiz Markamecha, V'saftas Tvuasa, 6 years you should work the fields. V'shana Shvi'ah Shabbat Shabbos and Nir La'aretz, and the 7th year is, as we know, the year of Shvi'ah. SHEMITA is the 7th year. Now this coming year, Mr. Chairman at Israel is going to be SHEMITA. So I figure it's an opportune time to speak about it. Akdama to the Tafshin Ayin Hay. Tafshin Ayin Hay, which is going to be SHEMITA. The way you figure out if it's SHEMITA or not is, it happens to be, it works out that if you take the amount of years since B'riyas Olam, every year that's divisible by 7 is SHEMITA. Then it's count, even though SHEMITA didn't start on B'riyas Olam. SHEMITA started first when they came into Israel, after they conquered it, and after they owned it, and after they split the land. After Kibush v'Chiluk is when SHEMITA started. And as they came into Israel right away, there was no SHEMITA. It was afterwards. After Kibush v'Chiluk, after they captured the land and they split it, then SHEMITA started. It still happens to work out that the SHEMITA works out that from Sheish Mei Bereshis till now, any year that's divisible by 7 is SHEMITA. Tafshin Ayin Hay, 5,000.
And that's purely coincidence?
It's coincidence.
Whatever,
coincidence.
Coincidence? I'm not sitting next to him.
So it means the year they came in and the 14th year were also divisible by 7 from
Correct.
the beginning. Yeah. So, yes. Yeah.
Now, just to start, what's the reason why? What's the reason why the SHEMITA? Why did Hashem say that we should have the 7th year should be SHEMITA? So a lot of the Rishonim and Achronim, they say that the Chinuch in Pash Mishpatim, it speaks about SHEMITA, he says that the Shroshei mitzvah is l'kvoya b'libeinu l'tzayit tzir chazak v'machshavaseinu inyan chidush ha'olam. So Hashem made the world. The same way there's 6 days, and the 7th day is Shabbos, to show that Hashem created the world. He rested on Shabbos. So we rest on Shabbos is a sign that we believe that Hashem created the world. Right? That's Shabbos. Same thing SHEMITA. But SHEMITA is a little bit different. Shabbos is that we believe that Hashem created the world. Now there was a belief, and it still goes on, that Hashem created the world. Yes, we know that it's impossible that Hashem didn't create the world. If you look around and you see what goes on in all the galaxies, you have to be blind not to see that there's someone who created the world that's way above our koiches. There must be an Hashem. There are a lot of people that believe that Hashem created the world, but they believe Hashem created it and He left it. Now, everything is nature. Hashem left the world to nature, and now everything runs by itself. Hashem is not involved anymore in the world. That's where SHEMITA comes in. SHEMITA comes in that 6 years you planted, the 7th year you don't. Says the Minchas the Chinuch that the 7th year is showing that everything that we worked the past 6 years, everything that's happening, the way we got fruit and everything from the fields, is only because Hashem did it. And therefore the 7th year we say, we're showing that we believe that even today, everything that's coming today is only because Hashem is involved constantly in what's going on in the world.
But Shabbos not?
Shabbos is a symbol for creation. Shabbos, we believe Hashem created the world. Right? Shabbos is not that today Hashem is continuing to run the world. Shabbos is a belief that Hashem was the one who created the world. SHEMITA,
Shabbos is universal. SHEMITA is really local.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shabbos is everywhere.
Shabbos is everywhere. Correct. So he said that to show us that we don't believe that Hashem created the world and left it alone. It's to show, we believe that Hashem created the world and is constantly mashkiach, and is constantly taking care of the world till today.
We also see that from SHEMITA because you have.
We see that, right, and that's why it says in the pasuk that don't plant the 6th, 7th year, and it'll have enough for 3 years. Right? That's not apiderach hateva. That's shaloy kederach. Doesn't make any sense. I was thinking to add that when Klal Yisrael came into Eretz Yisrael, there was no din SHEMITA right away. It took after Kibush v'Chiluk came SHEMITA, but before that there was no SHEMITA. Why not? The second coming to Eretz Yisrael right away, You should have.
Part of a group.
You should have. So it's exercise cost. The pasuk says you have to own the land. It has to be yours. Until they split the land, no one really owned their land. Klal Yisrael captured Israel. They had the land. They didn't split it, so no person could say this is my land. So it's exercise cost of that. In order to have Shemitah, it has to be your own personal land, and then you keep Shemitah. But there's something else. There's a Chassam Sofer that says, a very interesting Chassam Sofer. And he says that Klal Yisrael in the Midbar, all 40 years in the Midbar, what happened? Man came in Hashemayim, they went out, and they ate man, tasted whatever they wanted it to taste like. Now picture a child that was born in the Midbar. For 40 years, all he saw was man. Coming down Hashemayim, he never saw growth. He never saw you plant a seed and something grows. Right? He never saw that. And most of the people in the Midbar that came out of Mitzrayim died. So the people who are coming into Eretz Yisrael are all people who have never seen anything but planting a seed and you put it in the ground and it grows. Says the Chassam Sofer. The Yidden came to Eretz Yisrael and they were told, now go ahead and plant. So Yeshua says, go plant. So what does it mean plant? Take a seed and put it into the ground. And then what's going to happen? What do you mean? It's going to grow. The things are going to come out. And they were laughing at him. Things grow? How does it grow? What do you mean? There's water comes from Shemayim, and it waters it, and then it grows. If you never saw before in your life, says the Chassam Sofer, to you, it's the man was normal. Right? The man was a normal thing. And now it comes time to plant. For them, it's a pellet. It's like a mess, a miracle. We're used to it. We grow up, see, they plant the seed, automatically things grow. But if you think about it, says the Chassam Sofer, the same miracles that there are in a seed growing from water and sand, the same miracles that happen with the man. So if we're going to switch over now from planting to man, we're going to say it's impossible, the man doesn't make any sense, falls min hashamayim, bread, it tastes exactly the way you want it to taste, doesn't make any sense. But the Chassam Sofer said it's all relative. It's all relative. If you're used to one thing, so the other thing is a ness. If you're used to the other thing, this thing is a ness. So when Klal Yisrael came into Eretz Yisrael, they did not need any reminders that Hashem is the one that makes things grow. Because they come into Eretz Yisrael, they see things growing, it must be there's some koich over here that's doing it. For them it was Nissim. The same way for us, if we would get one today, it would be a ness. Same thing for them, when it grew, it was a ness. They didn't need that constant reminder yet that when you plant something and it grows, it's min hashamayim. Years later, when they get used to it, and they realized that yes, these things grow, and we get used to it, and you take it for granted, then they need a reminder already. No, this is
You
stuff from
understand
Hashem.
the parallels that you're making.
Huh?
You're making very dramatic parallels.
What do you mean?
There's a people who came into that land again, and it was a desert, and they were not farmers.
Right. And they
witnessed the miracle. They put a seed in the ground, and it grew.
Yeah. And yeah, that's later on. I'm the Klal Yisrael then, the Chassam Sofer. You're right, today you have it also. So you're saying they shouldn't have done Shemitah either.
Absolutely. What?
They didn't have to do Shemitah, you're saying. Those either didn't have to do Shemitah. Could be.
I'm saying there are a lot of parallels.
Yeah, there are a lot of parallels, yeah. Yeah, there was a time that it was a wasteland, and the people came in, and all of a sudden it changed in a couple of years. It changed it to...
There was no man, and people were planting things all over the place.
Yeah, all over the world they were planting things, and they saw what it meant to plant.
Yeah, they had.
Think about who
You have your own countryside.
They knew that.
Think about what?
Growing.
who those
They
people
did?
were who came.
They were going to buy.
Yeah, but they knew about planting this, so they came from Europe. They knew about planting. They planted potato crops, they planted beets, they planted... Wasn't they didn't know about planting?
Too, right? So they knew there was something
Right,
there.
interesting,
Right? So
interesting point. Interesting. He's asking a question on the Chassam Sofer. The Klal Yisrael, the Midbar, knew that there was something called planting. They didn't see it, but they knew they were getting them when other people were planting. I don't know, maybe...
And the Torah says, I mean, God tells them all over the place, part of Shema, right?
Yeah.
He says, hey, look, you're going to do stuff.
Yeah.
The rain's going to come or it's not going to
Correct,
come.
but they
What's the rate?
But
so they
but
do.
for them it didn't make
They didn't
sense.
see it.
They didn't see it,
feel
yeah.
They didn't see it, but they
Right.
knew about it.
Right. Okay, they knew about it, but for them it was also didn't make sense.
Like we know about man today. We know about man.
Right, that's right.
Very good.
Saw the man.
But that's what I'm saying. So
Right, very good. Right, in their
mental
minds,
connection.
planting was like we look at man.
Right.
We know what happened, but we don't believe until you see it.
Agreed, but they knew that there was.
Right,
I don't
they
think
knew
it was
about
so
it,
different
but-
for the people who came out of concentration camps
Right.
and found themselves in that
Right.
situation.
Also. So that's the Sagdam of what's shot in the reason why we keep Shemitah. Says that Chinuch, a lot of Rishonim say it's a belief in Hashem, and I just so recently I forgot where it was from, that is the seventh day of the week is Shabbos. It's a reminder of Hashem created the world. Seventh year is Shemitah. The seventh month of the year, which is Tishrei, what do we spend Tishrei the whole time doing? It's Tshuva, Amunah B'Hashem. 7 is always a time that it's a time set aside to Amunah B'Hashem. So that is Shemitah. Now, what does Shemitah mean? Shemitah means, perhaps Shemitah is that the land of Eretz Yisrael has to, you're not allowed to plant, you're not allowed to do any work on the ground during the year of Shemitah. Now, and things that grow on Shemitah, things that grow that year, you have to be mafkir it. There's big machlokes over here. I'd like to get into this a little bit today. What does it mean? Is a mitzvah? We're going to split up Shvi into two parts. Shemitah is two parts. One part is you're not allowed to work in the field. That's one thing. So you have to leave your field, don't work in it, fine. There's another part that when things grow in your field, they grew, you planted the year before and they grew in your field, those things you're not allowed to take, you're not allowed to keep, you have to be mafkir it. You have to let anybody who wants to come and take it.
You can take it into your thing.
You can take it into your house to eat for yourself.
Yeah.
But you can't do it for schayr. You can't take a bunch together.
Right.
It's also to do schayr.
You take it for yourself before you mafkir it? If to mafkir it,
Okay, so that's what we're going to speak about today. What's the mitzvah of Shemitah? Is there a mitzvah that you have to be mafkir it? Or is the din of Shemitah saying that it is automatically hefker? What is Shemitah? Pears grow from your trees. So what does it mean?
It's not automatically mafkir. A guy can't come. If he knows he didn't mafkir, he can't come and take.
Could someone go into my field? I wasn't mafkir yet.
No.
Could someone come into my field, pick an apple off my tree and eat it without asking me permission? Well, no. Do I have to be mafkir it first, say it's hefker, and then he can come in and take it?
No, but if the automatic
It's already Shemitah year?
It's already Shemitah year.
You have most.
Shemitah year,
And I wasn't mafkir it.
nobody has.
It grew on Shemitah.
If that's the rule.
Do I have to be mafkir it?
But why wouldn't you? On Rosh Hashanah you have to.
Let's say I wasn't. Let's say I wasn't. Let's say I was over. I wasn't mafkir
Yeah,
it.
you're not from.
Let's say it wasn't mafkir it.
because you take his stuff.
What's the halacha? Can I go in and take it by karachai or not?
If you don't light candles on Friday night, is it
Yeah.
Shabbos?
Yes. So you're saying the same thing, right? It's automatically hefker. So this is a big
If
machlokes.
that argument holds true,
The guy
then anybody
that
can go
holds
anywhere. If that's the rule, and everybody should know the rules.
Right.
The rule is, boom.
So this is a big machlokes in the Achronim, and we'll see. This leads to a very, very famous shaila. I'm just going to quote you the Minchas Chinuch, but it's brought down a lot already. V'ani v'supik. I have a suffix, says the Minchas Chinuch. A mitzvah kakafta the gavrahu. Is it a mitzvah on the person? The Rachmana tzivahu lahafki peirosav. The Torah says you have to go ahead and be mafkir your peiros. U'mechuyev l'chayam lahafkir. He has to go ahead and do that hefker. V'mafkir, I raise a hefker. Avlam eini mafkir. If the person was a mafkir, eini mafkir. It didn't happen yet. V'nehid over al asay, even though he's over on the mitzvahs asay being mafkir, v'kamakam eini hefker. Rach over al gzeres Hashem Yisbarach. If that's so, ein acha rishoy litloy. Somebody wants to come into my field and take it, he's not allowed to. I wasn't mafkir. I have a din to be mafkir. I'm an avarian. I'm not mafkir. Doesn't give you a right to go ahead and take something that belongs to me. If someone takes it, it's called gezel. One thing. Or he says, I don't know. Hefker ain't shvichim habaylam hafker. The Baruch don't have to be mafkir. They don't have to. Rakhu afkaata the malka shomela hefker. It's a gzeira from the king. It's a halacha from the king that automatically, which means Hashem, everyone's fields on Shemitah are hefker. It's not yours. Hashem said, become shvius, your peiros in your field don't belong to you. If that's the case, so if I go into your field and you were mafkir yet, and I take something from it, it's not gezel. It's mutter.
Aren't you stealing from the king at that point?
No, he was mafkir. The king said everything is hefker. Hashem said everything is hefker. So I can go ahead and take whatever I want.
Right. Okay.
So now, what does it mean? What's the mitzvah of the Torah? What's the mitzvah of the Torah? They have to be b'shvius. You have to go ahead and be mafker your field. According to that, the mitzvah is im noy al karmoy. If someone locks up his kerem and doesn't let people in, so he is stealing from the king now.
Yeah.
Then the person is over the asay and he is stealing from the rabbin. That's what the Minchas Chinuch has a chakira. What is pshat in Shvius? There's one big nafkamina which he speaks about a lot. I'm not going to get into that today. Is the Chinuch says that in the mitzvah of Shvius is a mitzvah on men and ladies. Now, ladies we know are part of a mitzvah sesh as man grama. Shvius, the chayra, is man grama. Every 7 years it comes, you have to be mafker a field. Now, if a lady owns a field, let's say, and she's not mafker a field, is she over on Shvius? Says the Minchas Chinuch, it depends on this. If it's a din you have to be mafker a field, then Nashim apart from that, because it's man grama. If it's a din that it's automatically hefker, but you're not allowed to lock up your field, so ladies can't lock up their field either.
The strange is man grama, though.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Because it's like a full year. It's not like I got to daven at a certain time.
It's not 2 o'clock every day. You're going to get it.
It's a whole year.
Okay, so that's a question. So that's a full year. Is it called man grama or not?
It's a strange man grama.
It's called man grama or not. There's no question about tzitzis, milah, man grama or not man grama. All these questions are because it runs for a long time. Is it called man grama or not? Let's not get into that now. That's why I said I don't want to get into it because there's a lot of terutzim to this question, and one of the terutzim is it depends how long it is. But that's one big difference. There's another big difference which we're all familiar with. Is the big one he says over here the Minchas Chinuch Shuv Hey Hashem Yisbarach as Einay Mitzasi HaMachlokes the Mahabit and the Beis Yosef. There's a famous Machlokes which is Negeya next year will be very Negeya. Machlokes the Beis Yosef and the Mahabit. If a guy owns land in Eretz Yisrael, what's the halacha? Is there a din shvius on the guy's land or not? They come shvius, and it's very hard for all the farmers just to ignore their fields and not make money for a whole year. So they have this whole Karen shvius now. They convince them, but there's something called heter mechira. They would sell the fields to goyim. Does that work or not? Does that heter mechira work? They take the fields, they sell it to Arabs. So the Arabs own the fields now. So there's no din Shemitah on the fields.
They do it before the Shemitah.
They do before Shemitah, yeah. They do before they sell the field, which is a nice part of Israel does it today. They sell the fields to the Arabs, and now it's owned by Arabs, and therefore there's no din Shemitah on the field. Does that work or not? So this is the machlokes, the Ma'abit and the Beis Yosef. The Ma'abit holds it doesn't work. If a guy buys land in Israel, he cannot take away the Kedusha Shvius from the land. He cannot take away Kedusha Shvius. The Beis Yosef argues, and he says, no, a guy buys land, he has no din to go ahead and be mafkir his peiros. He doesn't have to go be mafkir his peiros. If he doesn't have to be mafkir his peiros, so the guy's peiros are mutan Shvius. Says the Minchas Chinuch, this question is dependent on the first chakir he said. If it's automatic, that the land of Eretz Yisrael, Hashem was mafkir the land of Eretz Yisrael, b'shvius. A guy can't go ahead and buy the land and override what Hashem said that's automatically hefker. So you sell it to a guy, it doesn't work.
Isn't there? It seems to me to make perfect sense because if the land is on people of Israel, then Shemitah would happen in Poland if it was owned by a Jew. It's on the land,
right? So the question
uniquely
is
on the land.
So, okay. There's mitzvah tluis ba'aretz that aren't on the land. The mitzvah tluis laws are on the person.
Only when there's
Right.
in the land.
In the land of Israel.
On both.
Wow.
Both on the land and on the person.
Yeah. That's how you juggle it. Yeah. Okay, so
But the land is a very important, physically the land.
Yeah.
Because you had all these hydroponic places growing fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, which don't fall in the land of Shemitah.
That's a question. Who said that's true?
What in English?
That's a whole machlokes. The sugya of
I
Shemitah.
thought that was like widely known.
Right. The sugya of Shemitah is a very big sugya, and maybe over the year we'll do more of it. But things that aren't grown in the ground, things are growing in the house, in Eretz Yisrael.
No, I'm talking hydroponically. So they're grown just in water. No ground, no earth.
Correct, no earth. That's also a question. So Machlokes Nachronim, is there Shemitah on that or not?
Yeah.
Machlokes Nachronim. Some Nachronim say anything grown, even if it's in your, not in the ground, it's in your house. You're growing something in the water. Is that called the Shemitah Chalon or not? Or to say, all types of questions of what type of growing.
What happens with mushrooms?
Mushrooms is something else. Mushrooms don't grow from the ground. These are all questions of Shemitah, of the only things that grow from the ground. Anything that grows in Eretz Yisrael, maybe we'll get into that at a different time. But this question of whether a goy who owns land is it in Shemitah on it or not, is a machlekes, the Mabit and the Beis Yosef. And the Minchas Chinuch says it's dependent on this machlekes. If you say a person has to be mafkir his land, goyim don't have that din to mafkir the land. If it's afkat the malka, if Hashem is the one who's mafkir the land, and he says that it's hefker, so I don't care if a guy owns it. Any land in Israel, automatically it's hefker and has a din shvius. So this is a big machlekes nachronim. Most of Yerushalayim, most of Eretz Yisrael is knowing that they do sell land to Arabs, and therefore there's no din shvius on those payers, and that's why people get around it a lot, because otherwise there's so many halachas that there are with payers shvius that it's very hard for a lot of people to keep all the halachas. You have to eat it the way you usually eat it. You can't do anything different with it. You can't throw it out. There's a lot of halachas of shvius. You have a watermelon, right, and you don't eat to the last part. You could be over on shvius. Right? If you eat an apple, you don't eat to the last part of the apple, and you throw it out, it could be over on shvius. So therefore, a lot of people have the Teta Mechira, and they sell to the Arabs, and therefore there's no din Shemitah. The Chazon Ish was very against it. He held like the Mabit. He held even if you sell to the Arabs, it still has a din Shemitah. And you now have it has Kedusha Shemitah on it. There's Kedusha Shemitah on it. And there's nothing, and you have to make sure you eat it correctly, and you can't sell it. The problem is, with most of Eretz Yisrael is not going to the fields to go ahead and take the fruits and vegetables. Right? I want fruits and vegetables. Now, forget about Shemitah. I need it in the grocery store, and I need it in the shop. I'm not going to the street, to the fields to get it. So what's going to happen? It's going to grow in the fields, and no one's going to be able to get it, because you're not allowed to sell it. You're not allowed to share with it. So half of Eretz Yisrael is going to end up starving. So therefore they have the Heter Mechira. Once you have the Heter Mechira, they go ahead, and now they can go sell it in the stores, there's no problem. That's the Heter Mechira.
But half of Eretz Yisrael wouldn't starve, because if they're all going to be doing it, there's going to be way more in the year before to last into the next year.
So we're doing what?
You sound like there's an assumption that if they held by Shemitah, half of Eretz Yisrael would starve.
No, how would the food get to them?
They would have from the previous year, all in storehouses and everything. You would have enough from the previous year.
No, but the things that grow on Shemitah, following year, that's right.
You wouldn't use it.
Or you
need it.
Or you say they have enough stored.
Yeah. Isn't that what the Torah promises?
Yeah. Okay, if you're storing it.
Yeah.
If someone's going to store it.
They would do that. They would have
if someone's going to store it.
You get twice as much.
Okay.
You would store it.
Okay, but the tzii says today they're not storing it. They're not picking peppers and stuff and storing it for a year and a half. Right? They're not doing it. It may grow. The Torah said that it's going to grow in the fields enough for 2-3 years. It doesn't say that you're going to be able to store it in your storages and it's not going to get ruined. So the people who are going to selling it to you are going to have to make sure they take from the year before and then store it and keep it for a year, which is very hard, almost impossible. So any payers that grow from the Shvius year, how's it going to get around Eretz Yisrael? A lot of people are Samech on Heter Mechira. Chazon Ish wasn't Samech on Heter Mechira. He says he had like the Ma'abit, and any payers that are there has a din Kedush Shvius. So if you're going to go not even next year won't be the problem, but the following next year's crop. The following year, if you're going to go to a grocery store or to a fruit store in Toronto, you're going to see payers from Eretz Yisrael. You have to know what's going on with it. You have to make sure there's a Heter Mechira.
You can't. The biggest problem with the like if you've got olives, right? They come in a jar,
Yeah.
right? So you don't know when they end
Right.
up over here, probably from the
You don't know when
2
it's
years
from.
later, it could be 3 years later.
Right.
You don't know
The
when.
proper action on it.
Eh?
Proper action.
That's why you have to have-
No
Right.
Yeah, and I'm saying you've got to check for it.
Yeah.
Right. So
You can't just
They
assume.
usually say on there.
No, I'm saying you've got to look.
Take them out.
Date on it, the bottle
But
date.
so those things usually you're okay with because they all come with Aksherim.
Right.
The problem is raw fruit.
Oh,
It says take it out for
There's no Aksherim on it.
Yeah.
You see, in Israel, there's no Aksherim on it. You always have a problem with Shumas and Maisris
right.
when it comes to Eretz Yisrael. But besides that, you have a problem with Shvius. So that's what you have to make sure when you're buying stuff, especially after SHEMITA year, you have to make sure that it has a proper action on it. So some of that's Shumas and Maisris. You can machmer. I buy fruits and vegetables in a store, and it comes from Eretz Yisrael. Okay, I'll be machmer. I'll take Shumas and Maisris if I want. But SHEMITA, you can't say that. SHEMITA, you can't say that.
Can you explain to us how you take trims and measures out of it?
I promise you once I'm going to do that.
Is it a whole speech?
It's a whole speech. Yeah. Okay, maybe
We'll do this at the grocery store. We'll do a field trip.
Okay.
Or how about it?
Okay, maybe we'll do one in one of the following weeks. We'll go through one of the following weeks. I promised you a while ago that I can go through it.
Jeff oranges. Okay, now what?
Yeah.
Jaffa has OU, it's fine.
Yeah?
If it comes with an OU, it's fine. They took to
I have an OU on an orange.
That's exactly what they did. They took
You have a stamp?
yeah.
On each one?
On the bags.
On the bags.
But the grapefruit doesn't. We just got grapefruit and stuff.
Yeah, so then you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know, yeah. What was it? Oh, so anything that comes in from the SHEMITA, so it depends. If you know it's coming from a place that had the mechira and it was sold, then you're okay. But you have to know that. You have to know that it had the mechira before you go ahead and buying it. That is, if you're semich on het mechira, if someone's not semich on het mechira, so what do? Right, the Chazon Ish next. They're not semich on het mechira. So they don't rely that they sold it to Arabs, and now you have the fruits and vegetables that are potter from Shvius. So what do? So there's a heter that's called Oitzer Bezdin. Now Oitzer Bezdin, the record of Oitzer Bezdin is at the Sefta. The Rabban in the 6th parasha brings it down. And the Rabban says, in this week's parasha, the Rabban says,
I love SHEMITA. I hate vegetables and I hate fruit. I love the year of SHEMITA.
here, the Sefta says,
Just eat meat.
V'shamita yitzchayim v'tesefta b'rishayna yishluchei bezdin v'chazon al pischei yoros. Shluchei bezdin will go ahead and go around to the opening of the yoros. Kol mi shemevi peris l'chiyadai. Anybody who gathered in Paris into his rishus, haynait lezemenu. They'll confiscate it. Bezdin will confiscate all the Paris. V'noistin loy motzah shalashudis. They'll give this person enough food for 3 meals. The rest they would put into an oitzer in the city, a storage house, and then anybody who wants will come ahead and take it. So there's something called oitzer bezdin. Oitzer bezdin is a heter that you're not allowed to cut fruit and vegetables on Yom Tov, on Shvius, that you're going to sell. But how about if someone's doing it for a service for the people? He's doing it for a service. He's bringing all the Paris in one place, oitzer bezdin, and then everyone can go ahead and take whatever they want for free.
He's not charging?
He's not charging. We'll get to charging in a second. That's called Oitzer Bezdin.
He's charging. We'll figure out how to charge.
We'll figure out how to charge for it. 1 second.
Management fee. Handling.
Right, but that's what it is.
That's trading.
So Oitzer, right, shipping and handling, right.
Handling and shipping fees.
Oitzer Bezdin is that officially there's no charge. Anybody wants to come take it. So now, even though you're not allowed to go into the field and take a bunch of fruit and vegetables together at one time, but if you're doing it a shliach bezdin, then you're allowed to do it. Then you could do it. So now, today what I do is something called oitzer bezdin. You won't find it in stores. Stores won't sell it to oitzer bezdin. But oitzer bezdin today what they do is they gather a lot of fruits and vegetables and they sell them very cheap. And the only charge they charge is shipping and handling.
Isn't that what happens with Esrogim?
Officially.
It's supposed to happen.
Supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Supposed to happen this way.
You're buying the lulav. You're buying the lulav. You don't buy the esrog.
Yeah, so they do have law.
The lulav costs you $150.
So that's the more
And they
sukkah.
throw in the esrog.
Yes, that's called law.
Yeah.
You're paying for the lulav extra.
Wait a second, the lulav.
So the lulav is a question. So that's more Hokamar Tzukah. The lulav has the shvius in it. It could be lulav has no shvius. It's not. Can't eat it. There's no din shvius, kedusha shvius on a tree. It's the fruits that come from the tree. That's the whole question with flowers. There's also a question of is din kedusha shvius on flowers if it's not meant for a smell. But so oitze bezdin is bezdin gathered together and they are charging for the handling fee, a very minimal amount. So there's a lot of times you see in Israel the year of shvius to be signed. Oitze bezdin will be at this in this place, at this in this time, and people run there and they get very, very cheap. It's called oitze bezdin. Those are the people who don't rely on the mechira of the guy. But it's a very small amount.
So how long does it last for? It lasts for 2 weeks. You buy fruits and vegetables for 2 weeks. And
so they do it again.
Do it again.
They do it again.
By itself, then you collect it and do the same thing. Yeah.
They do it again. So that's the ones who do oitze bezdin. Any fruits and vegetables you're going to buy in a store in Eretz Yisrael is not oitze bezdin. It's all heter mechira, which is most of the fruits and vegetables in Eretz Yisrael today to rely on this heter mechira. And that means is that a person has to be mafkir his field. Like we saw in the Minchas Chinuch, it starts from a person has to be mafkir his field. Goyim don't have that in. There's another big nafkamina which they say is parents that have kedusha shviyas a pot of a trumas and maisvus. You don't have to give trumas because it's hefker. You mafkir it, pot of a trumas and maisvus. So if you're going to go ahead and buy from oitze bezdin, there's no trumas and maisvus.
Isn't that does that raise an issue? What you're bringing first fruits to the temple when the time comes? You bring your own, and you don't have any on the 7th year.
Yes, there's no bikurim.
There's no bikurim on that year. On the year after.
Yeah, you're mafkir. There's a lot more halachas for dinei shviyas. We just touched one shaila of whether the fruits and vegetables you buy have kedusha shviyas or not. Once they have kedusha shviyas, there's other issues. You see, sometimes they have bottles of wine that's saying that oitze bezdin or kedusha shviyas. You have to be very careful with those bottles of wine. You have to drink the whole thing. You can't pour out extras and it spills over. When it comes time to shviyas, kedusha shviyas, maybe we'll learn a different time. The payers that have kedusha shviyas on them, you have to be very, very careful with them.
Yeah. Right.
Very careful with them.
The peels.
Yeah, you got to let them rot, so you can't, you won't.
Yeah.
Those
are the ones who come from oitze bezdin. Maybe it could die for you to rely on heter mechira, pay more for your fruits and vegetables, then they have to go ahead and get cheaper ones, and then have the headache of how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe you could die.
I wouldn't want the headache.
Yeah.
But in that case, you're going against the Chazon Ish.
Right. Most of Eretz Yisrael relies on heter mechira. Yeah.
Those vineyards are probably all do heter mechira.
Yeah. Most of them do heter mechira. Most of the wines you buy all heter mechira. Most of them. Yeah.
Actually,
Otherwise,
I know one company that gets their grapes from Chile on that year.
Get the what?
Gets their grapes from Chile.
Oh, that's a different.
That year. You know, we bottle in Eretz Yisrael, but the grapes don't come around.
Yes, you know that.
Once a year. Yeah. Once every 7 months. Yeah.
Ever since we go like through Machane Yehuda during the year of it's empty.
yeah.
I'd say 70% of the stalls are closed.
Oh yeah.
70% of the stalls.
That means they're not relying. That means they're not relying on heter mechira.
There's just nothing. Yeah.
They're not relying on heter mechira.
For sure.
Does the farmer get anything for his handling charges in that situation?
If the farmer's the one who does it, he can charge with handling charge. He can't charge for the fruit.